Hey everyone, I hope y'all are having a great day, and today I'm going to be talking about some really good movies I've seen lately that I want you to watch too. It's summertime, and during the summertime I love to just be a vegetable and consume media whenever I can. So over the past month I've watched a lot of things, and out of the things that I've watched, there are so many things that were actually really great. And so I was like, let's make a video about it. So these are some of the best things that I've seen over the past month that I think are really great and I want you to watch as well. So the first thing is a little bit outside of the range of the past month. I watched Wine Country on Netflix. I watched it the weekend it came out. So this was still technically during the month of May when I was studying for my MCAT, but I had just taken a full-length practice exam. After I completed the practice exam, my brain was so fried and I saw that Wine Country had come out and I was like, I'm gonna treat myself. So I cooked dinner and had it playing so that I could kind of be doing like two birds, one stone, you know, just to rationalize it to myself a little bit better. But Wine Country is directed by Amy Poehler. It has a cast of amazing SNL women. They're all either past SNL cast members or past SNL writers. And it's so clear that they only made this project so that they could all hang out again and reunite and drink wine on set. But the outcome of that is that it's hilarious. There are admittedly sections of the film that I think just don't work very well. It's like either the humor doesn't land or the plot just feels very exhausting. But overall, really enjoyed it. I'd give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Anything that you put Tina Fey and Amy Poehler in, I will watch the heck out of. So now we're gonna fast forward to the beginning of June. I just took my MCAT. I wanted to go back home and just be a vegetable on this couch. I really had this vision for myself of post-MCAT relaxing, where I had like Netflix playing and I just fall asleep on this couch with like half a donut hanging out of my mouth. That's really the image that I wanted for myself. But anyway, one of the things that I watched after taking my MCAT was Hasan Minhaj's comedy special on Netflix called Homecoming King. And this one's not new. It came out in 2017. And it honestly, it hurts me. It hurts me how long I waited to watch this. I think what's particularly just ridiculous about this is that I'm literally a part of the committee at my school that invites speakers to come, and we invited Hasan Minhaj to come. We voted on it. I created like PR posters, whatever, for his speaking event, and I had the opportunity to go see him speak and to meet him afterwards, and I didn't get to go. But it's like, it's not like I don't know who he is. You know, I know who he is. I know what he talks about. I know what he's done. I've watched his White House Correspondents' Dinner at least like 17 times. So why did it take me this long to watch Homecoming King? I am stupid sometimes. Homecoming King is a comedy special, but it's not a traditional comedy special in that it's not really jokes throughout the entire time. It's a really good balance, I think, of hilarious and heartwarming, but also heart-wrenching. Like, I watched this and I sobbed. Just ugly, snotty sobs. I was truly a disaster. But yeah, he wrote the show, and at the core of the story is his experience growing up as a brown Muslim person. And as you might guess, there is a lot of adversity that comes with holding those identities. So he mixes comedy and heartbreak in a perfect balance where sometimes you're crying because you're laughing, and then it immediately transitions to crying because he's telling a really heartbreaking story. I was astounded by this comedy special, like truly just floored by how amazing it was. You know, I fell in love for the first time in 2012 when I watched Les Mis and I saw the magnificent angel of a human that is Hugh Jackman. And I thought, for the past 7 years of my life, I thought nobody in the world could hold a candle to Hugh Jackman. And then I watched Homecoming King, and I was like, Hasan Minhaj is the new love of my life. Get me to him. Just kidding, he's happily married, so let's leave that be. But yeah, Homecoming King, 5 out of 5 stars, a million out of 5 stars. Honestly, I think it's one of the best things on Netflix. It's like up there, you know, with Parks and Rec and Coco. The next movie I'm gonna talk about is Always Be My Maybe. So Always Be My Maybe on Netflix. I would give this 4 out of 5 stars. It's a really fun rom-com. It's written by Ali Wong and Randall Park. Ali Wong, I think, is really hilarious. I've watched both of her comedy specials on Netflix. She's almost a little too raunchy for my taste, honestly, but I think she's really fun. Ali Wong and Randall Park have actually been friends for a really long time in real life, and it really shows in their chemistry on screen. They're really great together. They have great energy. There's a section of the film in which Keanu Reeves plays himself, but like a caricature of himself, and it's just so funny. And I love that this is a romantic comedy with a heavily Asian cast, and they also talk about a lot of really important conversations that I really enjoyed. Ali Wong plays a successful celebrity chef named Sasha, and there's a part where Marcus gets mad at Sasha because he doesn't want to be, you know, eye candy or arm candy for her. And she's like, why not? If this were the other way around, no one would say anything. Like, why can't you support me? And I thought that was such an interesting conversation. I think sometimes the plot feels a little stilted, but overall, so fun. There are also some really great raps from Randall Park's character, Marcus, and I thought those were honestly, they kind of bop. But yeah, always be my maybe. That was fun. That was fun stuff. The next film I'm going to talk about is Aladdin. This one's a theatrical release, of course. It's a live action remake of the animated version. And I love the animated version so much. I'm very attached to my original versions of things, and Aladdin is one of my favorites. I love Lea Salonga and Brad Kane singing A Whole New World together. Their voices are just, they're butter, you know? So I was not sure how much I would love this remake, but I actually liked it so much more than I thought I would. I was hesitant about Mina Massoud and Naomi Scott, but I loved their performances. The production of it, the sets, the colors, the costumes, so beautiful, absolutely stunning. I love the changes that they made to the plot. They definitely made it like a more modern, updated, a little feminist version. And of course, Will Smith kills it as the genie. He had such huge shoes to fill because Robin Williams was like one of the most beloved actors in Hollywood. But Genie was fantastic. I would give Aladdin 4 out of 5 stars. The next movie I'm going to talk about is Late Night. So this is also a theatrical release, but it's made by Amazon Studios. This movie was written by Mindy Kaling, who I stan, so of course I was gonna check it out. I love that it's about the writer's room for a late night talk show. As you know, I love writers, I love writing, so I really enjoyed that the movie was focused on the writer's room of something. This movie touches on a lot of really important topics regarding having women and minority in the workplace, but it does so with a good amount of humor, which is a really good balance. So parts of the script are moving and funny, and I think that's really cool. But I thought it was so poorly edited. There are parts where the ADR just does not sync up, and it feels so sloppily cut together, which is really sad because I can tell that the writing itself, the original material, is so great. But also, I'm gonna be the first and probably like the last person to ever say this, but I'm not a huge fan of Emma Thompson's acting. I know she's critically acclaimed, like objectively a great talented actor, but she never quite sells it for me. That's obviously my opinion and like literally nobody else's. So I give Late Night 3.5 out of 5 stars. This last movie I'm gonna talk about is possibly the best theatrical release I've seen in a long, long time. I loved this movie on a deeply, deeply personal level, and it's Booksmart. I'm gonna tell you up front, 5 out of 5 stars, a million out of 5 stars, every single award ever to Booksmart. It's Olivia Wilde's directorial debut for a feature film, and she knocks it out of the park. The story resonated with me so much. It's about 2 girls who work so hard to get into their dream colleges. It turns out that the other students in this high school who've been partying and having a good time also got into their dream colleges. And so the 2 main characters are like, what? Did we waste all of our opportunities in high school to have a good time? And so they have one last night to fill it with as much fun and chaos as possible before they go to graduation the next day. At the heart of the story is the main female friendship between our 2 leads, Beanie Feldstein and Catherine Dever. And the female friendship here is depicted flawlessly. You definitely want to watch this film with a buddy. I watched it with my best friend in theaters, and there was one line that one friend says to the other where she and I looked at each other because it's exactly a line that we say to each other. It's flawless. There's a fantastic cast of characters. They all give such fun performances, and it's a really diverse cast as well, which I love. Something that I also really love is that one of our 2 main characters is lesbian, but that is not the crux of her storyline. It's a movie that feels so natural. All of these characters feel so real and fleshed out. This is such an impressive movie. There are some scenes that are so gorgeously shot. There's a beautiful dream dance sequence. It's so funny. It's so well made in every category, like technicalities, writing, directing, performance. In everything, this movie is so excellent. There was a point where this movie had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it deserves that. So the last thing I'm going to be talking about is not actually a movie, it's a podcast. I'm someone who really falls in and out of love with podcasts all the time. When I'm into them, I'm really into them. It's the only thing I'm listening to. But then after like a week or so, I'll just forget that podcasts exist and I'll abandon them for like 6 months. So I've recently fallen in love with this one podcast. It's called The Anthropocene Reviewed. It's John Green's podcast. If you've seen my writing crush video, you know I love John Green's writing. There's a limit to how much pretentiousness that I can stomach when it comes to writing, and John Green rides that line so precisely. If it were just a little bit more pretentious, I'd be vomiting, but he keeps it just at the limit for me. But yeah, in this podcast, John Green takes two things in our human-centered world and he reviews them on a 5-star basis. And most of these reviews are very anecdotal. He'll tell life stories that vaguely tie into the thing that he's reviewing. Even though I don't like listening to his voice too much, the episodes are so thoughtful, they have so much heart, they have a great amount of research. My favorite so far, I think, is episode 3. It's the one that talks about Kentucky bluegrass and Googling strangers. That one made me cry. That was impactful. Even the ads are interesting sometimes. He might introduce the thing that he's sponsoring with like a fun story or cool fun facts. So sometimes I don't even skip the ads, which is so weird for me. Not every episode is created equal. Some of them are more boring than others, but there are some really stellar episodes. So overall, I give the Anthropocene Reviewed 4 out of 5 stars. So those are things that I've been consuming lately that I've really enjoyed. Let me know if you have watched, listened to any of the stuff that I mentioned. I'd love to know your thoughts. If you haven't watched some of these things, I of course really recommend them. They have my seal of approval. Particularly if you haven't seen Booksmart, please go see Booksmart. Also, if you haven't seen Hasan Minhaj's Homecoming King on Netflix, you gotta do that. But that one's from 2 years ago, so if you're on the ball, unlike me, you probably have already seen it. What am I doing with my hands? Okay, so thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll have a fantastic day and happy reading. Bye!